Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Carpetania Campaign. I have changed my recording setup very slightly, so I probably sound a little more echoey, but hopefully the voice quality is fine, and I am definitely a lot more comfortable in the new position that I'm set up in, that my keyboard and microphone are set up in, so we're going to proceed with this. Last time, we addressed our domestic situation in the post-Eastern War world, and managed to, at least to some extent, what am I looking for here? Managed to figure out that having a bunch of governors who were just martial focused wasn't really going to fix our nation. So here we are addressing it a little bit more properly, noticing that things are starting to look a little bit better. I do think I will just keep everyone on harsh treatment until they are sufficiently loyal. I think the threshold I may go for is 50 and higher, because this means I don't have to make a lot of changes right this second. I should say 50 loyalty and higher with a trend of plus 15 or more, because that's what harsh treatment gives you, is plus 15. I guess I should say based on what it's giving them for the governor. So this governor is giving plus 15, but a different one might be giving like plus 0.27. I should have said plus 0.15, not plus 15. God, I wish I got plus 15 from the governors, but so hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, I'm still waking up, so I don't know if that description made any sense at all. But essentially, as the loyalty goes above 50, I'll then look and see what is this governor's version of harsh treatment providing. And if the amount that we're getting is over the amount that harsh treatment is providing, which is to say switching off of harsh treatment won't turn it negative, then I will switch it to assimilation. That is the way we'll approach it, probably going forward. I've spent probably hundreds of PI sort of switching around these policies over the course of the game so far, and I need to have a policy for my policies, so that is the that policy right there. So that is that. Now I'm going to progress now on speed 2 as we crawl our way towards the 1st of October. What I want to do in this episode is super focus in on my economy and get a handle on exactly where everything is, especially my slaves, because I do have a huge number of slaves in my nation, 64%. I got to make sure I've got them organized properly. And so what we're going to do is go through here and just look at all of our different trade goods spots one by one as our PI slowly goes up as well, and make sure that we've got the slaves in the right spot. Now, I've done slave micro in some previous episodes, so I know generally things are more or less where they're supposed to be. But just to be sure, let's go through in this episode in a dedicated sense and make sure that our slaves are sort of organized correctly. And I do wish that this map mode let me see my borders, because I often seem to forget exactly where my borders are. I'll have to switch back and forth. And we'll also get some events as we proceed, so we'll keep an eye on that too. Excellent conditions in Augusto Barriga, Lettonia, whether by happy coincidence, the blessings of the goddess of fortune, or just diligent management. For the past year, production in the settlement of Ostobriga, Lettonia has far surpassed the predictions of local bureaucrats and administrators. While we could simply exploit these boons for short-term gain, some have suggested that this is an opportunity to study the organization of slaves in Ostobriga, Lettonia. Hey, look at that. Even the events are slave-oriented, who by all accounts are an unusually satisfied and productive bunch, and attempt to apply the lessons across the province of Lettonia Meridionalis. I wish I could see from this screen here how much loyalty this place has, but I cannot, so that is annoying. Alternatively, we could, of course, simply allow whatever fortune Ostobriga Lettonia enjoys to run its natural course without interference. So let me find, so here's Lettonia Meridionalis. So Ostobriga, it's this place here. This is one of my grain slave farming settlements. Okay. So I could get 41 gold, which is certainly nice. Inamarcus has pretty high loyalty, so this is a perfectly fine trade-off. I could get Inamarcus some prominence. Inamarcus, by the way, is just the governor of Lusitania, so his prominence doesn't matter to me at all. And this does cost PI, so this is just a flat no. This one, I gain less gold, but he also gets loyalty, and this specific spot gets a big bonus to slave stuff. Now, I should note that my use of slaves in this campaign, as in previous campaigns, is pretty narrowly focused on creating more resources. You can have a slave economy where they're a bit more evenly split apart, and you're using them as a tax production population. That's not the way I use slaves. I use them to get copies of resources to sell. And if they also produce just pure tax money from the work they do, that's great too. But I'm really focused in on getting copies of resources because I do tend to focus on commerce income over tax income. That's just the play style I'm the more comfortable with. So this kind of bonus here for output, keeping in mind that output for my use of slaves essentially doesn't matter. I just care about the number of slaves to get extra copies because their output doesn't actually affect the number of copies I get. It's the number of slaves overall, not any of their outputs individually. Their happiness, again, the impact of slave happiness is a little unclear. It doesn't affect the provincial unrest, I believe. At least I'm very sure that that's not the case. I guess their output. Hold on. Unhappy pops. I guess I can test this out. Let me find a spot that is just slaves. I guess they actually do affect unrest from unhappy pops. I just think it doesn't affect it that much. So that's actually good for me to think about. Because slaves across my nation are uniformly unhappy because they're slaves. So it kind of makes sense. So perhaps actually getting some slave happiness boosting modifiers. Not this one from this event, because this is just for that one province. For this one, I will just take the gold, I think. But I guess I was right that slave happiness doesn't affect their output, but I guess I was misremembering. Maybe this isn't in weakness change as well, that slave happiness does affect unrest. Perhaps actually getting, because I have so many slaves, getting some of those resources that boost slave happiness, which I believe there was at least one of I can think of. Let me actually switch around the stone for the slave happiness resource. Actually, no, I can switch to copies of gold. Yeah. Because I also want to do some building. All right, let's get ourselves 2 open spots. Where was it? Was it olives? Yeah. I think getting 8% national slave happiness may very kind of indirectly really improve our loyalty situation across the nation, as we have just lots of slaves all over the place producing little bits of unrest here and there. Not entirely sure if this will make a big difference, but I'm going to test it out and see if things... I mean, they're not going to become worse from this because I've just traded away extra money for this, but let's go for this. Let's trade with Carthage. Just get the slave happiness bonus. I've never really, in any campaign on the channel so far, really taken slave happiness very seriously, but it's possible that's been a bit of a recurring misplay. So let's address that very slightly, and that may help us push all of our provinces to be into loyalty. I won't pay attention to how that changes too much, but anyways. So getting back over to what I was doing before, let's go back over to the precious metals. So the spot is at 12, so that's the right number. Let's also make sure that slave promotion is not allowed in those places. And I think that's it for precious metal spots. We also have precious metals in the capital. I could get more slaves in order to get more precious metals from the capital, but that seems like the wrong way to use this capital. We'll just leave it alone as is. Now, that's precious metals. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Tribune of the People. I guess we need to assign somebody new. We also dropped below 51, so hopefully this will fix that. Let's see. I think I want to assign... I think at this point I will actually assign Adamet. I've been holding off on her because she is super corrupt. But she does have some statesmanship built up. Her loyalty is okay right now, and she's really competent. So let's throw her on there to get some extra civ change. That didn't fix the support in the Senate. I don't think I need support in the Senate passively if I'm not taking actions, but I do like to have this above 51 just all the time if I can help it. So let's quickly address that. Democrats have no objective right now, just like in real life. Sorry, I can't help myself. It's too hard not to make topical political jokes. Traditionalists want to see religious complexes in Tertulia Orientalis. These guys want family holdings bestowed. I think I should probably smear an oligarch. That would make the people happy, just like real life. Sorry. Okay, let's leave that one alone. Smear this guy. There we go. As expected. The Senate loves it. All right. What was I doing? I was looking at precious metals. We got our precious metals spots already. I should note that essentially every single place I've expanded so far has been the places that don't have more precious metals. So if I expand this direction especially, we're going to get a lot of gold into our economy. So we should perhaps keep that in mind. All right. So I think what we should do is, let's see here. We got the precious metals addressed. I think what's next is, let me see here. I think, do we have any honey in our nation? It's so hard to find. I'm going to find honey somewhere over here. I think honey spawns. I'm looking for honey so I can get the thing lit up. No honey in Iberia almost at all, except for down there. I'm looking at the amount of money each resource brings in. I think livestock is probably the next most valuable, right? Do we have any marble? I don't think we have any marble in our nation, do we? Yeah, I'm just looking to find the resource to click it to get the thing lit up for, here we go, marble. Perfect, it's the color that's the most similar to the yeah, that's great. All right, no marble in our nation. We're right on the border with a bunch of different marble spots. That's unfortunate. All right, let's go back over here. So, no marble. Let's see. What else can we mine? Obviously stone, we can mine. Base metals, what does that give us for base metals? 0.25. I think the next most valuable resource that we can have a resource copy production buildings with is probably livestock. So let's go ahead and start looking at I know we have a lot of livestock spots, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Right, so this place, we have got the right number of slaves, and that's all set up. This place as well, so that's pretty good. We've got the slave promotion not allowed. Down here, we need to move some slaves down here. And there actually are a number of slaves at the moment, so this is a good place to now, also I should pause, to now address. 0% total power base is just loyal. Wow, that's nice. Pour myself some coffee. Doing another morning recording because I hate having good morning, I hate having good morning practices because this is probably not the best thing to do when I'm still waking up, but that's okay. It's a lot of fun. Oh, it's disloyal. That's right. I cannot move pops here. All right, we'll come back to this place later, but let's not forget about it. Over here, we can move pops, and in fact, we have more than enough slaves here at the moment. Slave promotion isn't allowed. Okay. No, hold on. There we go. All right, up here, we don't have a building yet. This place, we don't have a building yet. We do here, and we can move some slaves here. No, it's disloyal. Okay, come back to you. No building here, and it is also disloyal. This place, we have enough slaves. So actually, all the place, also this place too. This place is not loyal yet, so we can't address this one yet. So all the places that are loyal and we can move slaves to are already set up properly. So we'll come back to this in the future, maybe in 500, in 500 when we'll have enough loyalty, hopefully, in these spots. All right, that's livestock. What's our next most valuable resource that we can export? Probably stone is the next most valuable. Stone and base metals are the next most valuable at 2.25. I guess salt is valuable too. Do we have salt in our nation? I'm not sure how much salt is around here. I don't think I have set up farming spots. Can I set up farming spots at salt? I'm actually not seeing that much salt in my nation. There's a little bit on the coast, but that's about it. I guess that makes sense, yeah. Not much salt super far inland. Not sure why there would be. Also, let's go over to our administration and take a look and see. So you are at plus 10, and this is a plus 15, so that's no, plus 0.28. This is plus 0.24. Okay, so Carpetania is now ready to be switched. Now, I do know that having it on harsh treatment is going to damage the province in the long term. And the biggest thing that I mean by that is honestly the pop to motion speed. This is keeping a lot of people out of, I guess what I should say is because pop promotion and pop demotion are happening simultaneously, it's not like one modifier that promotion and demotion both sort of move around. So people are still promoting out of tribal population status into freeman status, which I do prefer at this point. but this is causing them to also revert back to tribal status or to slave status. So removing pop demotion over time will also prevent our slave economy from growing more. Because once I have enough slaves to get extra copies of the resources I care about, beyond that, I actually don't want more slaves because they are much less productive in the ways that I care about than freemen, citizens, and nobles. Anyways, enough yapping. Let's switch this over to cultural assimilation. And just like that, my new little strategy of keeping loyalty secure is paying off. So that's pretty good. All right, let's resume. Getting back to this. What was I looking for? We looked at salt. So next is stone. Now I do know that we have a couple stone spots around here, but any stone mines set up yet? We do have a stone mine up here, and we have the population working it. That is phenomenal. How about up here? We have a bunch of stone mines up here. This is a city. This is not mined yet, and this one's not mined yet either. So we could build some stone mines up there. And I believe that would be a good use of money because, yeah, this province is currently loyal, so that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and get this going. Let's build a mine here. So the mine, by the way, will give us 2 copies of stone because it's one from building the mine and then another from meeting the surplus need. So we're going to get 4 copies of stone, which I'm not sure exactly for how much stone. Let me actually check and see my trade overview. How much is my stone selling for at the moment? Exports. Stone is going for 0.28, so it's actually higher than the import value. So we're going to sell 4 more copies of stone eventually for 0.28 each, which, let's do some quick math. That's about 0.3, so let's round it up to be about 1.25. That's not an exact amount, but that's, well, actually, that's a little too high. 1.1, so we're going to get about 1.1 more income per month once our new stone trade is set up. So that's 1.1 income. So keeping in mind how much longer we have in this game, the cost of each of these mines, knowing of course that we actually do have stone active in our own nation as well, so we have the bonus to build cost. The effect of these mines, because each mine is, let me see here. Each of these mines, let's see, it's 124. So I mean, this kind of math probably isn't necessary, but so it's 124, so that's about 240 gold for these mines, and then moving the slaves, I'm going to guesstimate will be around, how much is it to move slaves right now? It's 3.75. Maybe around 60 gold to move the slaves. So within the remainder of this game, we will make back the money on building these mines. It is an expensive project, but we want to sell more stone, so that's pretty good. Anyways. Let's not get that economically focused here. So we have a lot of slaves. Actually, no, we don't have a lot of slaves. Wuluka is just large in general, so let's start moving them over. So we will need, let's see here, I believe 12 stone. Yeah, this is another, or 12 slaves rather, not 12 stone. I wish I had 12 stone. All right, let's start moving them over. I believe this livestock one actually does have an extra slave. I think I'll move 1 Celtiberian. We don't need 13 slaves there. So just allow slave promotion. Because one of the Carpetanians might be moved off. Whenever I do a colony, I need to come back and investigate if my slaves have been moved around, which is something that may have been happening in the previous campaigns that I didn't really think about, but it is just something for us to keep in mind. 1, 2, 3... pause it on paper first. Not that I need to, but just out of habit. Sagantia is going to be a little low population, but they will. Actually, I'll keep it at 2. I'm going to try not to take spots down to 1 population anymore. That is a little dangerous, and resettling spots in the middle of my territory is very inconvenient. So we'll leave it like that. 1, 2. Done. All right, we got our 12. Now, until the mine is built, this won't do anything except for increase the tax rate of this specific spot. But it will be good in a little while when we do get that. Sorry, I'm just moving my coffee cup across my table to reach it. Oh, it's too hot still. All right. That's fine. So we got that going. Now, over here, and this place, of course, is Numantia. So let's not move people from Numantia. So we're going to need 9 more slaves over here as well. So let's do that now. All right. Let's see. We're going to have to start importing people into the province, but that's totally okay. Let's not move a base metal spot because we're going to build a mine there in the future too. All right. I don't want to depopulate further than this, so let's go ahead now and move. I could move some more from Waluka as well, because Waluka is a city, not a mine. Now, I should note that cities actually do have a building mills, which you can build multiple copies. If you can build 3 copies to reduce the slaves needed for surplus. So you can, if you have like a gemstone or a gold city, do some sort of strategy involving this. I think that the cost of building 3 mills to get 3 reduced slave needed isn't worth it because it's 124 per mill. So if I was super late game and I wanted to sell an extra copy of gold and I had a lot of slaves in Toletum, I could build 3 mills, but that's also 3 more building slots. So that is a little dubious in my opinion. Hold off on that, I think. What's my population? Sorry, I'm just jumping around all over the place here. Population assimilation over here is 1.40. Could be higher, not gonna lie, it could be higher. I think we should build another marketplace in Toletum. No, actually we shouldn't right now because we need to move slaves still, so let's do this part first. All right, we need to move 3 more population of slaves over. Let's see here. Let's do it from this province. So let's move some slaves into, hold on, into Okilis from nearby spots. So we've got, all right, let's do it like this. All right, maybe not so much over here. How about into Tukris? I've really just, all my slaves are already been moved around. All right, let's see. How about into Confluenta Celtiberia? Yeah, here we go. All right, 1. Move them into here. Oh, I can't move them from here? What's the issue? Is it because it's disloyal? So wait, so I could move it, I guess I can't move slaves out of the province, but I can move them around inside the province? How did I move a slave into here, actually? Now that I think about it, how is that allowed? Okay, I'm not entirely sure what that's about, so let's not worry about that. Over here, let's move some slaves. Actually, I think I will move some slaves from here because we don't have a grain building set up yet. So into Tukris from Karaka. I'll move 1 slave over, and also move 1 slave from here because we don't have these buildings set up yet. No need to worry about that too much. And then hold on, let me find the spot. Oh yeah, that's the spot we're moving them to. All right, now move them up here from Tukris. Just need 1 more now. Let's see here. We have a stray slave around here somewhere. Surely we do, right? Yeah, Sego Briga has some extra slaves. Let's move a slave over to Carpetania Luga, which does actually have base metal, so let's remember that we're doing this from Carpetania Luga. What was I looking at? Hold on. Actually, we can move a slave from Toletum, yeah. And then up here, move them to Arcailos. And then over here, move them from Arcailos. All right, that's our 12. That's our 12. Good stuff. Glad to see that. Now, this is very much long-term investment type stuff because we're not going to see the results of these infrastructure projects for a couple years, but in the long term, we are going to make more money. And we are essentially transforming scattered bits of tax money into commerce money. And I actually prefer commerce money. It's true that if you're playing very aggressively and you have high AE, less people want to trade with you. So tax money makes you more self-sufficient. But I'm always careful to keep my AE fairly low. I'm not going on a huge warpath. And playing as a Republic, we're going to be going for a commerce game over a tax game, more or less. We're not going to like try to reduce our tax money, but we're going to be focused on commerce first and foremost. All right. Any other changes here? So plus 19, that's already been changed. Plus 6, this one's definitely not going to be changeable yet. Plus 5, we did this one already. Plus 19, plus 0.27, yeah, so nothing else is ready quite yet. So I think what we'll do is save up our money and then start doing some more idea stuff. I think the one we want to do next is probably standardized construction. That being said, we may be ready to switch to complex tariffs, but I do want to do more building. And, well, that being said, though, we could also do an oratory idea first. Getting sanction privileges is important at some point. We don't have level 4 advances yet. We're still at level 2. So we're not going to be at level 4 advances for a while. So that is totally fine. Election soon, right? 3rd of March for 497 because we have the shorter election cycle thanks to this. Don't love that, but it is what it is. So let's see, who are we going to get next? Looks like Deseta Boia, who is a Democrat and also the leader of the Democrats still, is going to be the new leader. Fine with me. She's actually got fairly good stats. I think a little worse than Bracusa for our immediate needs because we are in a long peacetime. But 6 and 6 is so much better than 0 and 0, so I'll absolutely take this. And other than that, she is a perfectly fine character. What are her stats? She's harsh. That's slave bonuses across the nation. That's pretty good. Kindly, which gives us some freeman output, 3%. Okay, I read that as 30%. I was about to get very excited. And then she's ambitious, which is great. So happy with that. Probably, oh yeah, now we're below support. But once we have the election, we will address that. There we go. Yeah, so as expected, the Senate does not approve of this. So we'll have to take some actions now. Who's scorned? Hold on. Probably the family that just lost their leader. The Boii are scorned, despite winning the election, because she technically left office. Hold on. Which family? The Orossi, I have so many positions. Wow. Okay, we gotta do something about this. This is unnecessary. All right, let's bring in a Boii. I really want to bring you in because you're so good, but yeah, you're so corrupt is the issue. I think if I bring her in, and then I also... so much though. That's 92% more wage. That being said, it is just money, and a corrupt officer is way less bad than a corrupt governor, because a corrupt governor screws up your province loyalty. Any other people from that family? No. You know what? Let's go for it. Let's take a look and see how bad this is going to hurt. So wages, 2.87. Let's plug our nose and invite IFE back into the government. Oh, it's like noticeably a lot, but what we should also do, we could actually increase wages to fight some corruption. Maybe, I'll consider that a bit later. Let's see here. Anyone else have crazy corruption right now? Aramed does, and some of that could be reduced. Oh, she's crafty and deceitful. Yikes. All right. Otherwise, things are okay. I think my governors are mostly not, noticeably corrupt either. Let's see. 5. Is this trending? This is trending. Okay. 0, 2. So actually, it's more that we have a couple characters who are surprisingly super corrupt, but most of our characters aren't corrupt really in any noticeable amount. So given that, perhaps switching to sanction privileges isn't a huge issue. That being said, since we don't have default corruption management from our laws, that may be worth switching to that for that reason. All right, what am I doing here? I am going to my Senate, or I guess my assembly, and seeing what I can do about this. All right, the year of Deseta Boia. Let's see here. I think, let's see, they want reconciliation. We need low tyranny. I'll try, but getting below 23, it's not feeling very likely at the moment. We do have very high tyranny. These guys want a great temple, which, can I build yet? I cannot build yet. I was working my way towards that, wasn't I? No, I do have open religion. Okay, I can build a great temple. What is it going to require in Toletum to build this? I just need money, so I actually am allowed to build this. I'm not sure I want to build this, but the traditionalists would like that, so that is one reason I might build it. These guys want bestowment. I don't really want to give holdings out, and the oligarchs don't matter at all. They are super furious, so I mean, the thing is, like, the oligarch's personal opinion as a faction doesn't matter more than this aggregate opinion, as I've talked about before. So what I think I should do is just continue dissing the oligarchs and making the traditionalists and Democrats happier, because they've got super majority control right now. All right, let's start doing some smearing. This does cost tyranny, which is annoying. I need to figure out a way to actually start reducing my tyranny. Maybe we should be importing marble, honestly. But how much would that help, honestly? How much is the marble effect? Minus 0.01. It's not really worth 2 slots to do that. It is nice, but it's not. I don't think it's worth it, honestly. Also, now we have civil war problems. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We will address that, though, of course. Let's smear some more. I'm surprised that smearing doesn't reduce loyalty, because conceptually the smearing is like the state or like the leader or the leading party doing a smear campaign. But I guess it's sort of back channel smearing, like in real life, where it's not always super obvious that it's the person doing the smear. Who can say? Oh, we need to smear some more oligarchs. We've already smeared you. Hold on, get out of my way. We've already smeared you. How about you, Lower Niska? Oh, they needed enough popularity to smear, that's right. All right, in our, but here, you? Could smear you. All right, I'll smear you too. Almost there. We have a couple oligarch governors. All right, and with this, we should be in the clear. Keeping the governor popularity low is also kind of nice. Now, this is probably why our tyranny is so high. It is a lot of tyranny to do a smear, so let's not forget about that. Yeah, now we're down to 15% threshold, which we're way above at the moment. So now we need to address this. So now our Senate support is fixed. That is handy. Perhaps smearing isn't quite the all-purpose solution that it may seem to be, because it does screw up the balance of my factions. But we'll worry about that for the future. I don't mind the Democrats being in charge at the moment because they seem to be the most ideal for our goals of reducing tyranny and whatnot. Let's see. If we wanted to do one of these options here, by the way, the one that's probably the easiest for us to pull off is the religious privileges. This one, they all require PI. They all require 25 PI. This one's just not in question because of how much manpower it requires. 100 gold is more doable. This one gives us state religion happiness, which would help a lot, and the traditionalists like us, and all this other stuff too. But this also reduces pop conversion speed, so I'm not entirely sure. This one gives us loyalty. Speaking of loyalty, a lot of these characters are very close to being loyal. So like Bana and Dutia, she's also a governor, so we want to make sure she's loyal. Let's bribe her, get that fixed. All right, 38. Let's see. You've got some big power base right now from being head of the family. Exuperata Galba, she's the researcher. Bribing wouldn't necessarily fix this it would fix it for right now, but I'm a little tempted just to give free hands. That is a lot of corruption. But she's fairly old, so I think actually I can survive off of free hands. And just like that, we're back to being fine. Are you a character in government? No, Burukusa is just the head of the Indutia family, so he's not in government. He just lost the election, so he's mad. All right, I think we've addressed that. Fair enough. Let's see here. Hatred brews. Enmity, they say, knows no bounds. To say that Exuperata despises Deseta would be a gross understatement. Exuperata made her intentions clear recently after she was involved in a violent altercation with a servant belonging to Deseta. The public may very well catch wind of this embarrassing situation. So I could lose prestige on the Boei family. I could gain suspicious on Deseta, who again is our current leader. Would this be good for the next couple years? It's not bad necessarily, but I could gain some prominence and have that character lose popularity. Losing popularity might help diminish her insane power base, because this is very high power base. I think I'm just going to not worry about this. I don't care about the family prestige when I'm in a republic because the families are constantly switching who's in charge. So prestige matters much more in a monarchy when you know who the family hopefully will stay in charge for a long time. All right. Granaries rated. Oh god, yes, finally. That sounded way hornier than I meant. Oh yeah, raid my granaries, please. Alright, where am I getting my granaries rated? Is it Editania? No, it's Lobitania. Here we go. That's helpful. Voice crack right there, wow. So I could lose some money, get some loyalty over here. Lose, no, that one's a no. This one, I just do nothing. I think because Deseta, this is one of her provinces, she doesn't actually have... Wait, why can't she pay for it? Don't you usually get an option where Deseta... I guess maybe because she's the Archon and it's a loyalty booster, you don't get that option. I'll just pay the money, honestly. I will happily trade 36 gold for 10 loyalty in one of my, you know, middle of the loyalty amount provinces. So we'll just have to replace the stockpile. That is great. Good stuff. Especially because this one is already set to assimilation, so we're not going to get much higher loyalty very fast. That's pretty handy. And the actual food amounts are super secure across my whole nation. I don't have any food, any places that have kind of insecure food situations, so that is extremely good. All right. Now I should note that actually switching to a different kind of republic does require 60 civ level in Toletum, so this will be one of the reasons we can't do it if we were inclined to. I'm not sure if one of these other options is that much better than Democratic Republic. I like Freeman Happiness a lot, and these three options are actually three kinds that I tend to like. Religious Ideas is probably my least favorite of the four for the early game, because the only one that really makes any sense for our current situation would be State Religion. Origin Myth, like, as you've seen, I haven't had problems with ruler popularity very much. And even when I have, they've often gone up to the cap pretty quickly. So despite popularity for the ruler mattering in republics, because we have, especially with the 3-year election cycles, so many different switches of who's in charge, it doesn't really ultimately matter much, in enough time that we need to think about that. We also do want to resettle this. Our best bet to do this is to just get more land around it that is more populous. I'm annoyed that it is depopulated, but it's not a huge deal. Just kind of an unfortunate thing that happened in that one war, so that's fine. Duniqui is looking really, really in trouble right now. They're down to one single spot. That sucks for them, but not much that I can do about that. In fact, I'm the one who kind of did that to them, all things considered. So that is fine. Stability is going down, but we're at super high stability, so I'm not surprised about that. Totally fine. Yeah, I think this is wrong. We're very close to the power base, but we're not at it quite yet. Rakusa does have some serious power base, so I need to be a little aware of him. I could bribe him, but I want to save my PI. I don't need to do it right now, so I just want to save the money if I can help it. All right, one more month. Our war exhaustion is completely out. AE is completely down. Now it's just tyranny that we have to worry about. So let's keep an eye on that. Assembly of Citizens may help a little bit, but that won't make a huge difference. It's less than a 10% boost, and I care more about PI at the moment anyways, so that is totally fine. All right, let's pause on the 1st of October here, get the things that we need. The game always lags whenever it's the 1st of October, and it always scares me. All right, so I think at this point, so Ogmios was in charge before, and we've now no longer going to need Ogmios. Do I have access to a tyranny reducing god? I'm sure I do somewhere, right? Tyranny reduction. We've got a tyranny reduction for passive. I'm honestly kind of considering switching Ogmios to Betaton. Now, Ogmios is actually really good too. So these are actually two very, very solid gods I can choose between. I can also switch them in the future if I really want to. I like the idea of province loyalty being selectable as well as an alternative peacetime one than manpower recovery speed. Because there are like looking at my current omen options here in terms of like the different gods that I currently have, what omens I can get. Morale of armies for peacetime doesn't matter at all. National tax doesn't really help where I'm hurting because my economy isn't the issue. It's my like domestic stability, my loyalty, that kind of stuff. War exhaustion has been handy for the last 5 years, but for the next 5 years won't matter because it's 0. And manpower recovery, although it's almost always good for me, there are times where I have not needed it. So having province loyalty be a selectable is great because there are actually circumstances like right now where that actually would be better than manpower recovery, even though I do need manpower recovery right now. So I think what I'm going to do is actually switch Ogmios to Betaton. Also, the passive monthly tyranny is really strong, and I think it's actually better for me than the passive AE loss. If I could have Ogmios and Betaton, I would do it because they're both really good for my playstyle. I think Betaton is a little better for my playstyle at the moment. I do a lot of things that cause tyranny, and I don't do a lot of things that cause AE. So essentially, Betaton is a little better for me personally. So let's do that switch. 15 stability should be fine. I doubt this is going to cause that much trouble. We can always increase stability later if we're so inclined. Looks like Betaton is one of many goddesses of the Iberian people venerated across the peninsula. She is a healing deity with her own oracles who can supposedly see the future for her worshippers and popular even outside of her native land. So I think for the next 5 years, I think we're going to go for Rosmerta to get the manpower recovery speed. I don't think there's any other god in this like set of deities I'd prefer over Rosmerta. But yeah, because none of these others. The only one that's kind of interesting is honestly Artio to get the attrition on omen selection. That could be kind of interesting in some situations, but let's just go for Rosmerta here, our old favorite. There we go. I think I've read that before. I'm not entirely sure if I have, but anyways, that is selected. We also have 2 relics. I didn't even notice this before. We have a monthly food one and a pop conversion one. We don't have any holy sites in Iberia as far as I know. Actually, no, there are holy sites. They're just all around me, just not in my territory specifically. So we've managed to dodge every single holy site on the peninsula. That is great. Not surprised. All right, so that is set up there. I suppose, let's see here. Yeah, I can't do the, no, I can do the War Council. Wait, I thought I didn't have the law that let me do that. Oh, it's abolish assemblies that lets you do it. Okay. I'll just do it in 500. You know what? We'll do it then. That'll be when we are going to war against Editania again. We'll just reset it to be in 500. Sorry about that. I should have done that on that monthly tick, but it's fine. Not a huge deal. We don't really need any claims at the moment, so I'm not too worried about that, all things considered. If people want to buy my resources, that would be handy, but it's just going to take a while for people to get around to doing it. We've got some money again. Could build some more stuff in, also we can do a idea now. I don't know if this rounded up or what. I think, am I ready to go into full commerce mode? I don't think quite yet. I think at the moment, I do still, because the thing with picking between those 2 options, because they're both really great for your economy. I mean, the other one is slave output. Like, I'm not going for an output strategy, so this one doesn't matter as much to me. So here's my thinking with this. Standardized construction is better to go for first, and then once your infrastructure is set up more or less, and you're not planning to do a lot more building, complex tariffs you ride to the end of the game if you're doing a commerce economy. I actually think standardized construction is better than tax farming as well. Now, once I hit 4 in my different advances, I'm going to revisit which of these policies I'm going for, because some of the others might be better in the future, but I think for now, standardized construction is the best option. Keeping in mind that since none of my governors are super corrupt, this will only be a money option, monthly corruption reduction. It is important, I'm not downplaying that, but standardized construction is what we're going to go for now. And now that that's in place, and we do have stone active all the time. We actually have an excess of marble. Oh, we are trading for marble already, aren't we? Yeah, I misremembered. We actually are already trading for marble, so that is already powered up. That's kind of handy. All right, what was I doing? We're going to build some more buildings over here. We have 1 more building slot. I don't know if we want to boost up the port at all. I don't really see a huge reason to at the moment. That would just give us, I guess it would boost up our trade routes, but I think I think the marketplaces are a little better suited for that. Tribal proposition. All right, we've seen events like this before. Lasonia gives us, or we get some money, we get some opinion with Lasonia. Sageda gains a bonus. That is handy, but not a huge deal. Let's see here. We get 3 manpower from this. That's pretty good. I think I do want more marketplace action right now. And we're near the civ level, so we do need to build something fairly soon. We could build an academy for the noble bonuses, but that feels a little premature. I don't think we're at academy building quite yet. That's going to be later in the game. Although the nobles would get a happiness boost. Let's just build another marketplace. All right, get that going. All right. Things are looking solid. Provinces are trending up across the board. I think we're doing what we can to address the situation. I'm feeling pretty good about the peacetime period that we're in at the moment. I think we've got the gods we need for the long term. I might switch out Nanto Suelta because 3% discipline isn't actually super good. It was great early on, but some of these alternatives, such as this one, National Commerce, like 15% passively, that's powerful. Let's see, anything else here? We have a couple commerce bonuses around here, actually. Stars of War. Hold on, let's get rid of this. All right, the sign of the stars has been clear according to our druids and proclaim our many victories to come. No matter who our enemies may be, our triumph will be certain as we move to take our rightful place as the rulers of Carpetania. Now to find somewhere to lead our troops and fulfill our destiny. Find the nation to conquer. I'm not exactly in the warmongering mood at the moment, but I suppose we could do that. I think our peace treaty, or our truce with Iritania has come up at this point. Yes, we did spend like a 5-year period of peace, so our manpower is at about half capacity. Stability is okay. War exhaustion and AE are low, especially war exhaustion, that matters for that to be low. Tyranny is not doing so great, but there might be some ways we can reduce tyranny. Actually, I don't know why I'm saying that. There's no way I can think of that being in war would reduce tyranny. We could go to war against Iritania. They'd call in Mastia, they'd call in Contestani. It'd be the same war again, but a little smaller scale, which would be fine by me. And I'd probably want to do... I'd not get any allies. I don't think I'll get any allies again going forward, at least not in Iberia. If I'm fighting a war outside of Iberia where I'm not trying to take territory, I'd be fine having local allies to help me out and, provide distractions. But at this point, I think I have the resources to just do the war on my own. Now, I don't have a navy at the moment because it was destroyed in the previous war in the east, so what I might do is just a straightforward ground invasion, call up all my levies, and bring them in. Now, despite actually focusing on civic governors, I do happen to have 2 really good martial governors, too, so I actually don't need to switch around governors. I think what I might do is just keep the less martially inclined stacks with the better, because I can split it up into 2 groups and to cover my 2 low martial governors. And then honestly, 6 is okay, so she can be a swinging army. I think we will go for it. I've got the money for it. We can boost this up. Let's pay for our forts. Yeah, let's go for it. I think that event gives us something really good if we do go to war pretty soon. I don't remember how long that event gives you. It may be changed by weakness as well. But yeah, let's get going, honestly. Once our stuff builds up, of course. So let's go ahead and raise our forces. And once our morale is at full, we have the claim. We have, we have the claim still. We can just attack as soon as our morale is in the right spot. No need to worry about that. I don't have morale of armies at the moment, but I do still have the discipline bonus, and I do also have the idea giving me morale, so I don't think we're going to be in trouble there. And all of these guys should... So we should be facing 6,000, because it's 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. And we shouldn't be facing all 6,000 at the same time at first, so we can run in here by land, no fancy naval tactics, and just start killing armies ASAP. Ooh, also their capital's not fortified. Oh, right, because we took their capital before. This is actually going to be super easy, because we can take their capital ASAP and probably kill their army. Okay, yeah, let's go for it. Wasn't going to go to war until 500, but the gods have forced my hand on that matter, I suppose. All right, let's get going. What's my closest region I can summon these guys in? Probably over here. And then you guys appear here. All right. Let's get all these people organized. Come on down here. Morale's actually pretty high at the moment, all things considered. I don't need to wait that long. Just have to wait for them. Yeah, they're already at full morale. Is this an Invictus change? I don't remember it being that fast. All right, whatever. The good thing is that their morale recovery is plus 27 passively, which is much better than the plus 07, or not plus 27, plus 0.27. God, I wish. It's not the plus 0.07 that it was under my 0 martial guy. So I think it is just the martial of your leader, which is important and makes me very glad I never had a low martial king in my monarchy playthroughs, because that would have been very painful. I like the background change because she is following the army in the camps. That is cute. All right. Assassination successful. We've just been informed that Exuperata Galba was found brutally murdered in her home just last night. The investigators have reported that a heavy club was used in the crime, a device known to be favored by Deseta Boya, the Archon. However, we have no hard evidence to link her to the crime. Regardless, we should be watchful. Nothing to see here. Oh, I forgot to set her to the right scheme. She was on scheme assassination. That's kind of my fault. Whoops. All right. Sorry about that. But that was one of our researchers. Was that also our super... No, that wasn't our super disloyal character. I wish she'd assassinate a disloyal character at the minimum. Let's put Burukusa as the researcher. That should hopefully fix his... Yeah, that fixes his... He wanted just to be in government. Okay, he can be the researcher. I guess I could assign someone who has the trait, but... I also think that these traits are what are causing those events where, like, Rome or other people give us extra progression on the advances, but he's super qualified, so I'll just assign him for that reason. That is fine. All right, let's get organized here. I think we just get into a huge blob and then march into Saltigi in one big stack, because they should spawn there. It's not fortified. We can just sort of blast our way through. We have more import routes. Hey, look at that. What is this from? I think from Pops. Yeah, +2 from Pops now. So that marketplace did actually take us over the edge, which is great. All right, I could trade for precious metals or cloth to get the bonus again. Actually, I can't trade for precious metals. Really? All right, I guess my precious metal trading days are over for now. Getting the cloth bonus wouldn't make a big difference because I'm not doing any oratory investments anywhere. I think we just trade for money at the moment, which means trading for, let's see, probably trading for elephants is our best bet for that. Plus the output is pretty good, so that's 3% output in our capital, which is great. Let's trade for elephants from Massilia. All right. Good stuff. Get all the squad lined up here. All right. Bit of a revenge war against Editania will be launched soon enough. Can go for it. Yep. No allies for me. My days, like I was saying before, my days of allies in Iberia are probably done. They're not, it's not terrible, and there are ways to plan around it, but to me, it's just not a fun mechanic. I don't think it's an unfair thing. I know I complained a lot, and I was like raging out in previous episodes about it, but in all honesty, now that I like slept on it and kind of calmed down a bit, my assessment of this thing with the ally war participants taking territory it's not an unfair thing, because that's what I do in wars too. Like, I'm racing for territory. It's just not a fun mechanic for me personally. That's a kind of challenge that I don't enjoy, because it's not a challenge that I can meet or that I can overcome. It's just a mechanic that has no player workaround that I can tell, aside from just being lucky. And I don't like mechanics that don't offer me a workaround if I'm smart or resourceful enough. So that's my stated position on that. Now that I'm able to make it. All right, we got the squad organized. Let's actually go ahead and tell them all about the proper tactics, just for the sake of it. I'm not going to have them follow each other. We're just going to all move together at the same time. And they should all be mixed groups with cav and infantry, so they should all move at about the same pace. All right. Got a diverse set of tactics here. Put you on deception just for the sake of it. All right. Let's go to war. So to declare war, we do have all of our forts and stuff turned on, I believe. Yes. All right, let's go to war in peacetime. Interestingly enough, I guess that is how you would say it. Contestania Septentriona. Now, this will hopefully be a much faster and less complicated attempt at this war than the previous time. But we also have interest in getting this territory. So we're going to try and fully annex these three guys if we can help it. This should be doable with the resources we have at the moment. We have plenty of manpower. We've got the momentum to start with. Let's do it. We've declared war on Editania, Contestani, and Mostian. Let's hope that we get some sort of event where we get rewarded by the druids for our warmongering behavior. All right, let's just march in here in full, super quickly siege this down because it's not fortified, and then hopefully kill an army as we arrive, and then march in full to Ad Addis and set up there. We've got our fort line behind us, blocking them from entering my territory very far, and they should be stopped at all these different spots, which is great. All right, let's see what we can do here. Just march on in. 15th of July is what they're saying. Works to me. All right, that's perfect. I'm happy to catch these guys here. This is the kind of fight I love to see. Defending against me in the plains, there should be no trouble at all. I'm going to guess right now 300 casualties on my end. Okay, a little worse than that, but we rolled pretty badly. And Boyrix is not necessarily the best. Actually, no, he's 8 martial. That's pretty good. This guy's got 8 martial too. Kind of on the same scale. All right, let's seize this down. We can't catch these guys because they're in white flag mode, so we're going to just seize this down really quick and then follow them. No need to split up our forces and get too complicated here. Was that event to go to war or to win a war? I mean, both are going to happen in this episode. Or very soon within this episode. All right. Rome wants olives. That was oddly timed with us winning that occupation. Not sure what that's about, but let's head down to Ad Addis. Just charge on through. Right. No need to do anything too fancy. The nice thing about not having allies as well is we know where the enemy is likely to go because it's just towards us, towards our army or towards our fort line. So should be fine. Grab this stuff here. Come siege down Ad Addis. This is only a level 1 fort. This shouldn't be too complicated. We lost our augur. Okay. Family position-wise, how are we looking? We need more Galbi and Boii if we can help it. And this is going to affect our omen as well, which at the moment is the all-important manpower recovery. So we kind of want a good augur if we can help it. Fortunately, we could pass over this really qualified minor character. I think we will. 1 less zeal is not a huge deal. Hey, that rhymed. Rap god moment right there. Let's put in Ilika Galba. Should be fine. No statesmanship though. Oh, man. All right, what's this? Now our threshold is being met. Okay. Really, just from you. Is that right? All right, fine. Had to do it to him. Just, that'll keep her at bay for a little while, and we should be fine. Alright, just march in here. Mines up here are done. Phenomenal. Now we should have that. Oh, we lost a slave here. Let's move one over. Where did the slave go? We have 3 slaves here. Did the slave move over to there? Okay, let's address that. There we go. So now we've got 3 copies and 3 copies. That's from 1 copy each. And you can't sell 1 copy if you just have 1. So now that's 4 more resources for us to sell. That's pretty good. Yeah, I wish I could catch these armies, but I can't really move around with the zone of controls around here. So we're just going to proceed with that. Hey, they want our stone already. Pretty good. That's 1 of the 4. All right. Maybe your tyranny is affecting people's willingness to trade with us. I'm not sure why it would. I don't think that affects that, but it's possible. These guys want stone. That's 204. Very good. The other nice thing about a commerce economy is that your domestic stability, whether literal stability or concept, like when I've been talking about stability, my stability mechanic, or the mechanic of stability has been fine. It's more conceptually my nation's kind of de facto stability, not the actual stability number. That's been more dodgy. Hey, that's all 4 of our stones sales right there. That's pretty good. Almost 1 full gold right there already. But the nice thing about a commerce economy is it doesn't really require a stable nation. It just requires that you keep all of your copies of resources. So if you're in my boat, if you're in my boat and you have a lot of just cultural issues and like people not being thrilled and just all sorts of stuff in your nation, because we're trying to integrate a large number of different people from diverse cultures and different religions. It's actually a little more of a sure thing to have a commerce economy compared to having a tax economy. If you're like a smaller nation, if you're more sort of organized and able to pull it off, tax economy is more reliable because it's just from you. The faith of Kunsa. Never has a more devout woman existed than Kunsa Boya. Our people clamor at the very door of the temple demanding that we declare a feast in her honor. I'll trade 18 gold for 6 stability. Absolutely. Having an advisor with high statesmanship. Yeah, statesmanship is so good. You get so many good event options from statesmanship. So I'm happy to take that. Then, if they want to remove some of these furious pops into slavery, I'm totally fine with that. I wish that I could just sell those pops. If I could sell pops 1 by 1 into slavery, which if that were possible, should cause me to gain like 10 tyranny because it's super evil. But if I could do that, I would, for mechanical reasons. I guess I could. They took RSA. That's totally fine. Yeah, 2 pops sent to Mostia. That's less pops for me to worry about, so I'm fine with that. Also, the election is this year. I forgot it's that fast. I hope that we don't get a super low martial character. That would be... I guess we can see, actually. So, it looks like we're going to get a super low martial character. That's great. But she is at least good on finesse, and we have other generals, so not the end of the universe. We are going to inherit that insane corruption, so that part's not so great. Caught red-handed. Boyrix did something... I'm not going to even bother about this. He was going to strike down Drakusa. Some stuff like that. I don't really want to imprison him, and they both have the same loyalty. Oh god, that would affect all family members? I don't want to lose 10 loyalty on all Indutii characters, because we have a lot. I think I need to do this, but I don't want to imprison this guy, because he's the governor. He's also one of my best generals, so I really don't want to lose this guy as a general at the moment. Let's not be too hasty. Okay, that didn't affect anything too severely. That is good. 21%, let's see it. Come on, folks. Oh, I did unpause it. Very goofy moment of me. I think after how complicated the previous attempt at this war was, the fact that this is going so well, just because I'm doing it simply, I think sometimes I kind of get high on my own supply a little bit and get lost in the sauce. And how many other idioms can I come up with on the fly that don't really apply here? Sometimes I get a little too into my own kind of thinking and strategizing and forget that I can just do the war without any complicated strategy and it will usually go fine because I have the numbers advantage. We'll have to go back and take this back. That's totally fine though. It'll be super easy to retake. Or will I? They keep going back and forth on whether they're going to commit to that. Also, I will be getting my next idea when I have the 20 PI because that's going to give me the Freeman happiness. Siege is 1. Great. Let's actually run over here probably catch them. Maybe not catch them, but we're going to resiege this down either way. That's pretty good. They're going to have to siege this down fully, so... Eif Boia now rules our glorious nation. Democrats remain in control. They want grant rights. Alright, let's fix the Scorn family thing first. Let's put you into the position of magistrate. You have super high statesmanship. I want to keep Deseta in government as much as possible. Right. Got to address this. They want grant rights. They want the Celtiberians to be integrated. That's not happening. I want to turn them into Carpetanians, so no way. I could do some smearing. That's going to cost a lot of tyranny. A lot of tyranny, though, is the issue. I could actually remove some holdings. That's probably a better way to get approval at the moment, because that should get me enough approval, as is. No, that's not even my nation. Remove some of Eif's holdings, I suppose. Yeah, that's good. Because this doesn't affect the character's like loyalty or anything. And she's also the current leader, so her loyalty is super secure. There we go, yeah. I should be removing holdings, not doing smearing. That was several years of misplays because I was focused on doing smearing. But it's fine. I've learned the error of my ways eventually, and I can't go back in time and replay this stuff perfectly. All I can do is figure out what makes the most sense and then play like that going forward. I'm perpetually fighting with my urge to be a perfectionist, so this is the compromise I have to make with myself about this game. This series is almost kind of good for my mental health in that way, because I'm constantly noticing myself making mistakes and then realizing, you know what, I can live with them. I can progress in the flawed world of my creation. So, yeah. Anyways, let's retake this, and then run down. We have to run back over to retake it multiple times, but that's fine. If they break their siege of my stuff to do that, that's fine. Also, let's not depopulate it, please. Be careful. All right, head down here. Oh, we have to get this as well, that's right. Let's actually come down and get Mastia first, because I can catch them if they come towards Mastia. We can still go through here as well. Let's get Mastia, because they'll come to Ulicky either way. Actually, what we should probably do is catch them over here. Is this on the water? Hold on. I don't think it is. No. But we can get a defense up here. Yeah. Let's come over here and try and kill their army while they're kind of gathered somewhere. Oh yeah, these guys are gonna back away. They saw the reason. Try and catch them here. No, recruit mercenaries. 10k versus 1.5k. This should be fine. Well, they may slip away though. They are famously slippery. Oh yeah, they're kind of breaking my siege. I'm just making their AI get scared. All right, look at that. 1,500 sack wipe. Yes, please. Let's come meet them in Arce. Maybe catch them, maybe not. But just, yeah, this is going to be a really decisive couple little victories here. Look at me playing this war correctly. I don't think I played the previous time super terribly. I was dealing with a much larger territory to work with and more participants, so it's not like this is the exact same war a second time. So anyways, I don't really want to go for military administration because having the loyalty flip around when the governor becomes a general or not is hard to keep track of. So let's go for the only one that makes sense here, monthly corruption. There we go. That may help with her Archon a little bit. Not that I think anything can ultimately save her from her severe corruption problems. But the Freeman happiness is really good. All right, let's come and get this fight. Maybe it will scare them away, maybe not. Okay, once again, this is just flat out incorrect. We have over twice, well, we have over twice their numbers. We're defending. This should be no trouble at all. They do have a higher martial character, but that won't be decisive. We have an 8 martial character. If we had like a 3 martial character, I wouldn't take that fight. Get some stability. Nice. Untiring devotion, once again. Our army's under attack. Yeah, should be totally fine. We're gonna take some casualties. I'm gonna guess 700 casualties because the game is mean to me. Sharing the reward. I could make the Celtiberian citizens. And the the Democrats would actually achieve their agenda from this, so that's interesting. So I don't want to lose the... So I guess I kind of have to do this because the Democrats would suffer a 50 approval loss otherwise. So this requires integration, but this is a way to do it without integrating. I actually prefer doing it like this, honestly. All right, Democrats are super into that, so that's pretty good. Having them be citizens is fine. I don't think that counts as integrating them. Not entirely sure, but there we go. We won the fight. But I'm completely out of time, so thank you all so much for watching. And next time, we will continue this war and address our citizenship thing with the Celtiberians. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.